Dear children, you have learned till now the concept of capacitance, and it is the measure of ability to store the charge. And then we were finding the capacitance of spherical bodies, and we have seen the capacitance of the whole earth as a spherical body was just 711 microfarad. But the fact is that if you just talk about the condensers or capacitors, they are the arrangement where maximum amount of charge can be stored in the smallest space. These capacitors or condensers are important part of any electric or electronic circuit around us nowadays. And in all those electronic or electrical circuits, you have so many capacitors or condensers installed, and they all may have capacitance of the order of 100 or 1000 microfarad. So obviously we can understand that we cannot use spherical conductors only as the required capacitors, because large spherical conductor may have just small capacitance. So we have to look for some arrangement where we can have some logic where maximum amount of charge can be stored in the smallest space, and that is the principle of capacitor. So if I say what is a capacitor, so it is an arrangement where large amount of charge can be stored in the smallest space, and principle of capacitor is really important to understand. How can we do it? And then we will talk about in this part different kind of capacitors: parallel plate capacitors, spherical capacitors, cylindrical capacitors. And then how to find the capacitance, how to find expression for the capacitance of them. But before I enter into these capacitors principle and different equivalent capacitance of combinations, I need to talk about this concept of polarization. So in fact, and polarization in dielectrics. So in fact, if I talk about dielectrics or insulators, we can divide them into two kinds. One side we have non-polar dielectrics, and other side we have polar dielectrics. As their name itself is suggesting, non-polar dielectrics do not have a permanent electric dipole moment, and polar dielectrics do have a permanent dipole moment all the time. So we have non-polar and polar dielectrics. Then let's talk about in detail about these non-polar and polar dielectrics, and also we are interested to understand how will their behavior be when they are kept in an external electric field. So let me first talk about these non-polar dielectrics. So here the fact is that we know, as per the atomic model, atom has its whole charge situated at nucleus, whole positive charge, and electrons are revolving in the orbit around it. And the revolving electrons are such placed that the center of mass of their negative charge and center of mass of their positive charge in fact coincides. So they do not carry any net electric dipole moment. The other concept where we say that electron stays around the positively charged nucleus in the form of cloud of electrons, they are also in non-polar atoms or molecules. The center of mass of positive charge and center of mass of negative charge coincides. So they do not possess any net electric dipole moment in absence of an external electric field. But what happens when an external electric field is applied? Then under the influence of external electric field, this positively charged center of mass of this positive charge shift slightly in the direction of electric field, and center of mass of negative charge shifts slightly opposite to electric field. And as a result, what we obtain is a net electric dipole moment. So these non-polar dielectric get polarized on applying external electric field. We call it polarization. So they get polarized. Now this is about non-polar dielectrics. The next is about polar dielectrics. When I talk about polar dielectrics, I have example like HCl. So here hydrogen ion and chloride ion, they are placed small distance apart and they carry some certain dipole moment. They have a permanent dipole moment. Similarly, like I have mentioned here, water molecule has a permanent dipole moment 6 into 10 to the power minus 28 Coulomb meter. Now these electric dipoles in these polar molecules like HCl, like H2O, like NH3, you have a net dipole moment all the time existing. But the fact is that in absence of external electric field, these net dipole moment, it may not be having a finite value. It is like these electric dipoles, they are randomly oriented. So net dipole moment is 0. But then when we apply any external electric field, then all of them experience a torque Pe sin theta. And under that torque that tries to align them, so finally what we observe is that these electric dipoles, they are now aligned in the direction of electric field. And thus the net dipole moment is not 0 now. And that is happening in presence of external electric field. Again, this is polarization, this is phenomena of polarization of these polar dielectrics. Now moving ahead about polarization, I am also looking forward to introduce this concept where you can just take the case that there was a positively charged plate and there was a negatively charged plate, and due to these two positively charged plate and negatively charged plate, there is an external electric field which is existing here, E0. But then you have your polar or non-polar dielectric molecules. What happen? They get polarized. So its negative would come here and positive would come here. I am talking of any molecule. It can be polar or non-polar. It will get aligned. It will get slightly polarized and will get aligned. Now next molecule would be aligned like this, and next molecule would be aligned like this, and next molecule would be aligned like this, and then further. Now if you compare the arrangement, here this positive and negative, they overlapped. Similarly, this positive and negative overlapped. Similarly, they also overlapped. Similarly, they also overlapped. So they neutralized each other. And as a result, what we are getting is, so I'll show in this, we get a net negative here and we get a net positive here. So in different color I'll show so that it is visible. We get a net negative here. All internal, they get neutralized. Now there are two electric fields. One is this external electric field E naught, and one is electric field due to this polarized electric field, polarization. The E naught is what? External electric field, and EP is what? Electric field due to polarization. So the net electric field would be E naught minus EP. So just I am showing it here. There are two electric fields. One is the electric field due to, one is the electric field E naught, and that is external electric field E naught. And at the same time you get these oppositely charged, positive and negative. Leave all other, they are all neutralized, all other. So due to this positive to negative, we have a net electric field here. It is EP. This is electric field due to polarization. So the two electric field, the external electric field E naught and EP, they are opposite. That's why the net electric field is E naught minus EP. So this is about the polarization. Yes, in non-polar dielectric, the polarization is weaker, and in polar dielectrics, the polarization is much stronger. Once again, the same arrangement where you have an external electric field between this positive to negative, it is E naught. And at the same time, you can see that this is oppositely charged, the net positive here and net negative is here. And as a result, you are getting EP, which is in this direction. So the net electric field that comes here is E naught minus EP. And when this dielectric is placed in an external electric field, in fact the E net electric field becomes E naught by K, where K is dielectric constant. So now we talk of this another important term of polarization density. In fact, sometime you may have to talk about this term polarization density. As this term is telling you, it is the induced dipole moment per unit volume. Just imagine that you have this positively charged plate here, and over here you have a negatively charged plate. The charge density of this applied electric field, of this applied, applying charge is sigma, and due to that there is an electric field which is existing here, and this electric field would have value sigma by epsilon naught that we learned. This is external electric field. Surface charge density divided by epsilon naught, electric field due to sheet of charge. Now in this central region I am introducing a dielectric. And onto this dielectric, we have induced charge and it is opposite. So if we say Qi is the induced charge here, A is the area, D is the separation. So induced dipole moment would be Qi into D. An induced dipole moment per unit volume. Let's divide it by volume. Volume is A into D. Induced dipole moment per unit volume is called as polarization density. And D get cancelled, so it comes out to be Qi by A. Now polarization density or induced dipole moment per unit volume is also Qi by A, and this is induced charge per unit area, this is sigma p. This is surface charge density, polarized surface charge density, sigma p over here. Now, if due to the positively charged plate and negatively charged plate with charge density sigma, you said the electric field is sigma by epsilon naught, due to this sigma p, there will be an electric field EP, which is sigma p by epsilon naught. It is like two plates, similar two plates, positive and negative. It is like positive and negative opposite, and they have surface charge density sigma p. So we can say the net electric field in this case would be E naught minus EP. E naught is sigma by epsilon naught and EP is sigma p by epsilon naught. This is sigma p, polarized charge density by epsilon naught. Or the net electric field can also be called as sigma by epsilon naught minus polarization density by epsilon naught. So that's how sometime you may come across this term polarization density. It is the induced dipole moment per unit volume, and polarization density, induced dipole moment per unit volume, is also equal to induced charge per unit area.